Missing someone with all your own. Missing someone.
You see my fat butt?
All right, so Chris, have you in here to talk about what you're shooting? I was gonna call you Eric. I talk to him so much. I do like to be on the internet. So yeah. So what do you shoot and all that?
All right, so I shoot in limited division within USPSA.
Okay.
This is my primary focus right now. I shoot IDPA occasionally. I think last year, IDPA is actually where I started shooting. I competitively for pistols. A buddy and I, Trevor, we wanted to see what it was all about, so we went out and we started shooting and really liked it. And then I started shooting USPSA because somebody told me, if you want to be good at IDPA, you shoot USPSA. And I just was laughing. I was like, okay, whatever, it's a dig at them. But I just fell in love with the 2011 platform and the guns that I get to shoot in USPSA. I look forward to shooting IDPA with the 2011 here shortly because it is a fun game. It's a different rule set and it's just different. It's fun in its own right. But for USPSA, I'm focusing on the 2011. I just picked up the Sakai and put on a Phoenix Trinity grip, and this has been a very, very good gun for me lately. And it's what I'm going to be focusing on within my major matches this year. So I'm shooting. I have a really fun weekend or week coming up. I get to shoot the Glocks only match up in Emmett. I'm going to be focusing on non-Glock though, because I have Magnus the following Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So
Okay.
we're driving down. We're going to shoot Magnus.
What's Magnus?
Magnus Sport Cup is a match down. It's a major match down in St. George.
Okay.
And JJ Rakaza, I think, is the match director. So, world-class shooter throwing a match. It's going to be there's going to be a lot of good competition. And I have goals of getting a national spot. So we're still waiting to hear how those spots are going to be divvied up from the Nampa Rod Gun Club. So I'm hoping to get a national spot. And my goal was to get down to St. George and shoot a match there, so I'm not a little out of place out of the norm, because I've never been to St. George. I want to take that out of the equation. Go to, if I want to go to nationals, I want to go to the range beforehand and give it a try. So I get to give that a try. So we're shooting Glocks. We're shooting Magnus. We're gonna try to get back, all shoot and then get back all in one day on that Thursday. So it's a 10-hour drive. I'm gonna work the Friday because work's just crazy right now. It's hard for me to take time away, so I'm gonna try to work Friday. Then we have the Hawk Tech 1911 match the following Saturday.
Yeah.
So unfortunately I won't be able to shoot my 2011 in that, but I'll shoot a STI DVC 1911 that I just picked up, and I'm new to 1911 in single stack shooting, so that will be a fun challenge. But really looking forward to that. But then we have Area 1, I believe that's in June. We have the Idaho sectional in June as well, which Eric Steiner and myself are the MDs for. So we're really excited for that, and that's gonna be a fun match. But then I'm hoping I can get that national spot in September, and then just keep working hard in that. We can. So the other disciplines I shoot, like I said, I like IDPA. I like shooting that when I have the time. I'm really excited for that new 2011. We're going to put one together, and it's just going to be 100% custom, and it will be IDPA legal, so I can shoot that gun in that match. But I'll have a different holster set up for that, so it'll be just a little different, but it'll be the same type of gun that I really enjoy shooting.
So what makes it that gun versus the one you're building makes it IDPA legal versus that one?
That's a good question. So the big thing is the magwell. Like I have a big honking magwell on this thing. I think I don't think there's a weight restriction on ESP, which is a division within IDPA. I could be wrong, but the big thing is this is a bull barrel on this gun. There's no bushing. So I'm going to do a bushing barrel, which I've been told is more accurate than a bull barrel. I don't know. I've never experimented within 2011s between a bushing and a bull barrel. Yeah. And this gun I'm building is a backup gun, so I figured let's give it a try and let's see what happens. And
that'll be interesting to hear your results when you get that and play with it. Be neat to know.
I'm really hoping that this other gun will be the same, will like the same overall length, so I don't have to have
That'd
two
be
loads,
nice.
have backup match ammo. I don't want to do that. I want to have one gun for the whole thing. But
And then prior to the video, you're mentioning that you're talking about people shooting production versus limited. What was the advice you're saying that?
oh yeah, so for new shooters, they come in with a stock Glock or an M&P, something basic, and those are all great guns. They function well. What's funny about this is when Trevor and I first got into USPSA and we started shooting together in USPSA, I looked at all the 2011 shooters and I said, I'll never own one of those. There's no reason for me to own one of those. But I got bit by the bug, and this is now I'm on to my third one now, the one that we're building. So, and I've only been shooting competitively for 2 years, so I'm churning through the 2011s in a hurry.
Yeah, nice.
But when we have a new shooter come in, they generally research the rules. They have kind of an idea of what they want to do, and they'll come in with 5 magazines. Sometimes they come in less, and they say they want to shoot production. Production is you cap your magazines to 10 rounds, and with USPSA there's so many targets, there's so many variables within there. A lot of times, like, you can get a 20-yard plate rack and just miss and miss and miss. I know I did that not too long ago. It was kind of brutal, and I would not want to be standing there reloading constantly. So I recommend that they load their magazines all the way full, and they shoot limited minor, because they're generally coming in with a 9mm. This I shoot limited major, so that means I have major scoring or major power factor, and I get more points for my non-alpha hits. So for a Charlie, I get 4 points versus 3 points. But when you're brand new to the sport, I know I was this way. I thought, I'm going to come in, I'm going to be the best. Competition shooters are great shooters, and they have spent a lot of time. I know the last 2 years, the amount of money and sweat and tears and now blood after my accident yesterday. I spend a lot of time practicing. I spend an hour a night dry firing every single night, regardless of if I've shot a match or if I've done live fire. There's dry fire every single night. There's live fire. So if you come in and you think, I'm going to beat them, you're not. My first match, I shot in 2017 in February up in Emmett, and I was doing pretty good at IDPA, and I come into USPSA, and I think I was second from the bottom, third from the bottom. I was down there, and I thought I was hot stuff, and I was trying to shoot production. It didn't work for me. So for new shooters, I think it's best to come in with limited minor, and just be willing to learn whatever you can learn, because there's so much to the sport. I just took my RO class this last weekend, and I learned even more. I've been acting as an RO, an unofficial RO, for probably the last year and a half of my shooting, and I thought I knew everything. No, still don't know everything. There's so much to the rule book. There's so much to this sport that you can learn. I'd recommend that new shooters don't handicap themselves with low cap right off the bat. Go struggle with high cap, figure it out, and then start getting into the division. Don't go out and buy a 2011, something super high end, thinking this is what you want to do, because it might not be for you too.
Right.
If you already have a Glock, you already have an M&P, just bring what you have. I know I've loaned out gear. I've been a recipient of gear. I had my, so before this one I had an STI Edge, which I absolutely loved, but I was just jonesing for this Accura. And so I made a switch out, but the match before I switched this out, my extractor went down. And I was the match director for that match out at Nampa, and I didn't have a backup extractor. I thought I was done for the day. And the shooting community are some of the nicest people in the world. I was given ammo, I was given magazines, I was given a holster, mag pouches, and another gun to go ahead and compete in the match. My day was done from a competitive standpoint, but I didn't have to go sit in the clubhouse and just sulk, thinking that all the people are having fun and I'm not having fun with them. So shooting community is awesome when it comes to that. So I know for me personally, I was super intimidated to come out and shoot my first match, because I thought, these people, they don't want a new person. They don't want a new person asking them questions. We welcome the new people. We love seeing new faces out there and getting them into the sport, because it is, every time I do a new shooter briefing, I always apologize. I tell them all the rules, and I say I apologize for the amount of money and time you're about to spend in this sport, because it becomes so addicting. It is such an enjoyable hobby to have.
So what makes this gun a limited gun?
So the limited gun is real close to open. So the only thing that we cannot have between limited and open is, you see that I'm shooting iron sights. When you have an open shooter come in, you're going to see a big old frame mounted red dot. So the carry optics, you'll have a slide mounted dot. So it's right behind the ejection port. It's usually milled out. Now they're just coming that way. You just have a little plastic plate you pop off, put a red dot on there. But in the open gun, you'll see a frame mounted or just like a little platform that goes over the ejection port, and you'll have an optics sitting on top. You'll have a big old compensator on the end. The other thing that makes this a limited gun, obviously, is the open sights, but I can only have, I think it's 141 millimeter magazines or 140 mil magazines. I forget the exact measurement. I'd have to reference the rule book for that one. But what that does is kind of limit me down to 20-ish rounds. Some people can squeeze 21 in there. I just found one mag I can actually put 21 rounds in. So that's now my start mag. And then the open guys, there's some guys that have 30 round tubes that can have, it sticks out this far and they never have to reload. So so this gun is a light and slide, and it snaps a little bit harder. It's just different type of material, different, well, not material, but just different milling practices. Like there's internal lightning that occurs. Okay. So kind of a snappier limited gun. You see that the frame or the dust cover doesn't go all the way to the end like an edge would, an STI edge would. So it's a little lighter weight out towards the muzzle. It's a lot heavier because of this metal grip that I've put on it. But you get a big mag well on here as well. So you could have a Glock and you could run it in production, and you could run it in limited as well, because you could put a magwell onto the Glock, and then it would become a limited gun, or you don't need it. The benefit of this, if you throw me that mag, the benefit of the magwell is just having that smooth reload, being able to not have a tiny little opening. You have that good size magwell that you hit the edge when you're fumbling and it just goes in. So that's pretty much the characteristics of of this gun. Some people say this is a bad thing to do, but it's it's legal in regards to the rule book. Is this grip safety is disabled, but my primary safety is active. It functions as it would. I have a very light trigger on this. I think last time we weighed it was about 1.5 pounds, a little lighter than I typically would like to, but I'm feeling very comfortable with it right now. I thought I was going to have to bump it up, but it's running real well for me. I think that's pretty much the characteristics of the 2011 limited gun. So
for kind of what I've been, like you said, for new shooters, they do their research on the setups. So from what I understand, so you can run this type of holster. Oh, that's a good point, yeah. So this is called a race holster. Mm-hmm. So the gun, so what you need to look out for on illegal holsters is whether or not they cover up the trigger guard. And a legal holster, you notice that nothing is encasing this gun. It's just that trigger guard is completely covered up. So that's what makes it a legal holster. But basically, I have a lock on there, so I walk around with it locked. Typically, I have a case over it to keep dust off of it in the summer. But all you have to do is you just unlock it, and then you just pull up, and it's released, and you can come into firing position. Other things that you can do with your limited setup is not only a race holster, but you can have a magnet. So if you have unloaded table start, or all mags are staged on barrels, or we had one in Area 1 where all the magazines you're going to shoot were on a table. So the low cap guys are sticking all their mags, so they're basically being timed how long it takes for them to put their magazines in their mag pouches. I'm able to snap one on, and then I can reload from that real quick. And then when I'm done with my unload and show clear sequence, I can just snap it on there, and it's there. But that one time you have that type of stage where it's the ready condition of all mags must be on the table, the magnet does come in handy. But then I can put my pouches wherever I want. Low cap shooters, they're forced to not even low cap, carry optics as well. Mm-hmm. You have to have your mag pouches and your holster behind your hip bones. And there's some
good drawings within the USPSA rule book that says where you can put your mag pouches and your, or what actually makes up a hip bone, because there's arguments on that, but not anymore. But I used to have all my mag pouches, actually my magnet was always back here. But I found that I was never hitting my mag pouch right there, no matter how much I dry fired. In the heat of the moment, I could never get that magazine out. So I switched everything over to the side and just made things a little more functional for me. So everybody's going to have their own placement, and it takes time. So for like IDPA, I have a couple mag pouches that I just put on a normal belt, put it past my hip bone, and then you wear some sort of cover, some sort of concealment, a jacket, a vest, big t-shirt, whatever you want it there. So it's a little different for IDPA. But you know, if you're running open or limited, everybody's going to have their own preference here. Some people will just say, you know what, I want everything behind my hip bone. It just doesn't matter to me. For me personally, I feel like I generally do one reload. It's a rare occasion when I have to do 2 reloads on the stage. But even for the second, even the third, it's not that big of a deal for me to get back there. But like on my single stack rig that I'm making for the 1911 match this year, I have to reach all the way to my spine to grab that in practice. It's just it's something else to practice. But as long as you're practicing and you know where your mag pouches are, you're going to be okay.
Nice.
What else?
So a question that came up in my mind while you were talking was the national spots. Been seen on the Facebook page, you know, talking about that. So how does that work? How's that?
So I know every club is different. I can only speak to how it's done here locally.
Okay.
So with me being a member of the Nampa Rod and Gun Club, I'm eligible for a spot. And the way they do it is, I think within the whole Idaho sections or sectional, we get, so we're not an Idaho state match, we're a sectional match because we have Baker, Oregon as part of our sectional. So we have Baker, we have Parma, Nampa, Emmett, Jerome, and then Idaho Falls. I believe that's all of them. Oh, did I say Parma?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said Parma. They just started shooting USPSA again. So between that, they just look at participation. How many shooters in which division? And they have a calculation that our section head just goes and says, okay, we were allocated this many spots for nationals as a sectional or as a section, and each club gets this many spots. Okay. And then Nampa goes off of participation. So how many matches did you shoot at Nampa, and how much did you get back to the club? So
that's kind of cool.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's going to be a committee here shortly that take all that into account and say, okay, here are the guys that get those spots for gals that get the spot as well. So I can't wait. It's not like a kid at Christmas right now, just waiting to hear if I get that spot at nationals, because it's just a goal. It's something I want to do. I want to go experience. I would love to see how I stack up right now, and especially with it being at the end of the year, it's going to be here before we know it. 6 months away, but I have 6 months to practice and work hard. And what I'm really excited about is I get to go to Magnus, and I get to see how I stack up against all those top shooters at Magnus. I get to watch their match videos and see what they did differently, and then I can go and I can practice some of the things that I'm lacking in, so I can just, I like putting in the work. It's an enjoyable process for me, so I'm excited to see what this year will bring me and how I can grow as a shooter.
Wow.
It's awesome. It gets me more excited to go out there and just kind of experience all this. I had a question. So what advice would you say for new shooters? Someone who's like, because you said that you started and you did IDPA. Anyone, I mean, no matter what it is, like, what would your advice be to just for someone to go out and shoot?
Come out. Don't be intimidated. We have great Facebook community that you can ask some basic questions like, what do I need to bring? You can do your own research if you're that type of person. I didn't know there was a Facebook group, so I did my own research.
What's
for
USPSA?
For our area, it's USPSA Area 1 Idaho Sectional.
Yeah, okay.
And just come out. People are more than willing to help you in any way that you need, gear, skill, whatever it is. Don't go out and buy new gear. Figure out go and shoot a match, figure out you want to do it first,
Yeah.
and then you'll most likely be addicted to it, and you'll just keep coming back. Don't go out and buy a Dillon 650 right off the bat. Shoot basic ammo, because you might switch. There was a guy, brand new shooter. He comes out and he's shooting 357 SIG. That's really expensive to shoot, but he was. He didn't go out and buy a new gun right off the bat. He wanted to see other people's gun, because what's cool is if someone comes up and says, "Hey, I want to shoot that. I want to feel metal grip." I don't care. You're not going to shoot anybody's ammo from it. You're going to shoot my ammo, but I will give my gun to anybody that wants to shoot it and try it out. So you come out, you figure out what you like. You might be attracted to production or CO or limited or open. There's PCC. There's so many different divisions. Just come out and shoot what you have first, and then start asking questions. People will never tell you, no, I'm not going to answer that question. They'll always be there to help you, and there's so much to learn in the sport. Just come out and give it a go. Don't be intimidated by any of the competition. Just have fun with it.
I was reading kind of a good setup is at least have some type of holster and at least like 2 mag pouches.
Yeah.
Kind of like your most minimum, at least to get out there and shoot.
I mean, shoot, if I didn't have enough mag pouches, I had my first match. It was the year of Snowmageddon, so my mag pouches didn't show up in time.
Oh no.
And I put 3 mags in my back pocket because I was shooting production, and I was reloading from my back pocket, and that was legal. If I was shooting limited, if I was smart, and if I would have taken the advice of more experienced shooters, I would have shot limited minor to begin with, and I could have put them in my front pocket. I could have had them hanging out, and it would have been a little easier to reload for me. But so holster, mag pouches, even just whatever mag pouch you have. It doesn't have to be anything competition specific. If it's just carry gear that you have and you want to come shoot, I've seen people shoot some carry guns in USPSA. Most people shoot carry guns in IDPA. Because that's what that sport is really about, is the defensive shooting. This is however you want to shoot it. There's some people that want to treat it as their tactical training. Some people just want to come out and have a good time. They could care less if they miss the target 20 times. Like that's fine. But then there's people that take it extremely seriously and push themselves and try to get better. And unfortunately, I cannot do something without giving it my all. And then, so that's the camp that I fall in, is trying to get as fast and as accurate as I possibly can be. But still have a lot of work towards that. But yeah, just come out and shoot. Don't be intimidated by anyone or anything that might have heard. We had another shooter come out, I think 3 weeks ago, who had a broken gun. His gun was in the gunsmith, but he just came out to see what it was all about. He just wanted to see what we were doing, get familiar with the range, because he had just moved out here. He wanted to see if there was anything too crazy about what we were doing, because I guess he was a cowboy action shooter. Okay. So have you seen that? It's like 3-gun but in a cowboy hat.
That's cool stuff.
Yeah, so he had done that, but he wanted to get more into this style of shooting. So he just came out and watched us for a little bit, and just make sure you have ears and eyes, and you can come out and watch any match.
Nice.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend that, because my first match I went out, I just was taking pictures for Accura, and everyone's, like you said, they're so nice, and even offered, a couple people offered, you want to shoot my rig? I was like, oh no, it's fine. But yeah, no, I definitely, same thing, go out there and at least watch. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Something I'd recommend is I just brought a new shooter, a good friend of mine, Phil. He hadn't spent much time with handguns, but I just started him off with I would have liked to start him off in Steel Challenge. Steel Challenge is a great way to come out and learn about competition shooting, because 7 out of the 8 Steel Challenge stages we shoot is there's no movement. You're just standing there. There's 5 plates that you shoot, and you shoot them as fast as you can, but you get in the habit of the unload and show clear, the make ready sequence, that type of, you get used to somebody timing you and being close to you as you're handling a gun. And then you can all shoot 22s as well. So like with Phil, it was middle of winter, so I took him to the indoor range and we shot just a 22 and just got him up to speed. And then I got him into a 9mm, and then that way he wasn't just jumping into a 40 or a 9 when he's never really shot a handgun before. So with Steel Challenge, you come out, I take my now 8-year-old son. He did it last year with me. Yeah, at 7 years old, he shot my steel challenge pistol, just a red dot Mark IV, and he had a blast with that. And then my wife was like, hey, this is something I could do by myself. I could bring, so she shoots my rifle, my rimfire rifle, and she shoots that as well. So I'll shoot center fire, I'll shoot rimfire pistol, I'll shoot rimfire rifle open. I think I'm going to play a little bit with single stack in that discipline just because it seems like fun, and I have a nice 1911 just sitting there not being used, so I want to play around with that a little bit. But it helps you with transitions too.
Yeah.
It's really good because you shoot a plate and then you got to transition, so you get used to calling your shot and knowing when to transition. And we're really fortunate here. We can shoot in Idaho a competitive match every single weekend, whether it's IDPA or USPSA, and then we can shoot coming up on April 15th, and it runs all the way through the first weekend of October. We can shoot Steel Challenge.
Yeah.
And twice a week we can go Monday and Wednesdays, and we can go to the Nampa Rod and Gun Club and shoot that. Parma does it every Friday night starting this Friday actually. So we're very fortunate to be able to shoot whatever discipline we want in the valley.
And shoot as often, because
Yeah.
I don't know, there's some places you probably couldn't shoot that often as far as, shoot, it's like, what, 4 times a week you could in April?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And we'll shoot all year round too. Rain, snow. There's been one match, it was Snowmageddon that year that I saw get canceled, but you just bundle up and make sure you keep your hands warm during those cold matches, and they're still just as much fun. We might shoot more steel, but because tape doesn't stick on paper.
The road's wet, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still fun to be able to get out and keep your skills up to speed throughout the winter instead of taking a break. And some people like taking breaks when it comes cold, and I'm still at that level where I don't feel like I would benefit from a break. I still have a lot of growing to do, a lot of learning to do, so I try to shoot as much as I can right now. And, I don't know if I can't imagine taking a break from shooting when it gets cold. It's just too much fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, anything else you want to cover?
I think that's above and beyond.
That was
That's
a lot of great information.
Good,
Yeah, appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it gives a new shooters kind of a place to start, and shows off some of your stuff here, and yeah, no, it's great.
Not a bad way to spend your life savings.
Missing someone. Love with heart. How much you missing? And you listen. And you listen. And you listen. And you did it right from the start.